Hello, welcome into another episode of StadiumCast. You may know me as Inadequance. You can call me Martijn.
And I am Lundberger, also known as Amanda. And I have to ask you a quick question, Martijn. What is it like retirement in the Netherlands?
You usually come back within a month. I did so in like November or December, and after 4 weeks, it was good retirement, and then I came back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
In Germany, they're even better at it. They do like 1 month they play and 1 month they don't play.
Yeah, it's retiring at a very young age, it seems like, in some of these countries. We have one of the, I think, the best retired Dutch battler. We can say it like that now officially, right? In on this episode, we have ThoTechtical. Welcome in. Or actually, let's address this right away. ThoTechtical.
Yes, yes. Well, it's all good. Everything, as long as it's not technical, I'm good with it. But anyway, good to see y'all. Good to see you.
I have
Thanks for
heard
having me.
ThoTechtical before, yeah. um, ThoTechtical, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those if there's like one or two people who might not know you?
Oh, I'm just a guy right now,
Just a guy.
but I used to play a lot of Pokemon Go, a bit too much Pokemon Go, especially PvP was my thing. And I streamed on Twitch and posted YouTube videos. And every tournament I've ever played in where Inadequance was present, I've always performed better than him. So that's kind of my claim to fame.
It's a good claim to fame. I mean, you are one of the people. It was very sad. You made an announcement a little bit ago that you're not really playing the game as much as you had been in the past. But really, like you were one of the first names I think a lot of people knew when it came to PvP. You were, what was it? The highest tier in Sylph the very first season, right?
Yeah. I played. I did very well in season 1 and season 2 of Sylph. Season 1, I was the highest rated European at the end of the season, and in season 2, I was in the number 1 spot for the majority of the season until like the very last month, because that like very last couple months of season 2 of Sylph is when the game really started going downhill, and I kind of stopped playing there as well. So that's when I dropped off. But that's when I started streaming because that was fun, and people already knew me from there. And that's how my streaming career really got started.
So how did you start building up your community like that? Did you already like have like 5K followers or something before you actually like on Twitter before you even went live on Twitch?
Yeah, well, I didn't have that many followers on Twitter, but a lot of people knew me from the Sylph for like the Sylph leaderboards and just from like a lot of tournaments. I played a ton of tournaments. I had like a ton of people I practiced with. So when I started streaming, a lot of people came in because they knew me and they told their friends to come in and they told their friends to come in. And that's, I think, how I started.
Do you remember? Do you have any statistics on like what was the highest viewer count that you had at one point when you were Twitch streaming?
The highest viewer count, I think, like 1.3 or 1.4K, something like that. Probably during, I think it was during either a season start or when we had a league switch.
Mm-hmm.
I would regularly get like above like 1,000 back in the day, and I think my highest was like 1.3 or 1.4.
All right. So the start of Sylph, that's a topic that we touched a lot with House Stark in one of our previous episodes as well. I want to ask you a little bit different about that. I believe that Niantic is mostly investing into building up local communities, and that includes local PvP tournaments, if I am correct. Like currently, they have this prototype, if I should call it like that, in North America, right? Where if you have like a leaderboard, and if you're on top, you can win a stipend of $750 to travel to the NEIC. How effective would you see this become in Europe?
I think would be great. I think it might be even more effective in Europe than in NA, because like it's a lot more dense out here, whereas in NA people are more spread out. So I feel like hosting local tournaments here might be more successful at that scale, at least. I think if you go like super big, NA has the upper hand, but for like smaller local tournaments, I think they would do great in EU.
Speaking of small local things, so it's no you guys aren't hiding the fact that you guys are both Dutch battlers. And there's been a lot of Dutch battlers this year who have actually qualified for Worlds already in the Play Pokemon circuit. Do you think that the Netherlands has the best battlers in the world?
Hell yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I
No,
100%
for
agree.
sure. For
Finally,
sure.
we something we agree on.
I definitely think so. I think, I mean, if I can be a bit arrogant, I would say I can fit in there, and Martijn can as well. And of course, we got Stadistan, who has proved himself to be one of the best players over and over. And then we got Colin, who's kind of a newer name,
Hmm.
I would say. Well, he's not that new, but compared to us three, Colin is a bit newer, who can also definitely be one of the best players. So yeah, we are very strong.
Yeah, I think Colin is, he wasn't really a well-known name before, but like during the period of Liu, I feel like around that period he became like suddenly really, really good. I
Yeah.
would say on similar to the level we usually play on as well. Maybe even better. He 3 me last time we played, so
Definitely. I think him having like contact with Stan and the rest of the like Tea and Pizza faction probably helped improve his skills a lot.
hmm Um, would you think that if those tournaments become a thing, the local tournaments, that many retired battlers, maybe even including yourself, would pick up PvP again and battle with the people they used to play Civ with back in the days?
I would probably go. Yeah. I mean, if there's a tournament like kind of close by that I can just travel to and from in a day, I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know if I'll fully pick up PvP again because of that, but I can throw together a team the day before and
Or
just
steal
hop
one?
in, have some fun. Maybe I go 06 or maybe I go 6-0 or whatever. I don't know. I don't think I care at that point. The community is already worth it.
And when you say you throw together a team, do you mean that Felix would throw together a team for you and then you would go play it?
Maybe. More likely, I'll ask Martijn because I did pretty well with his team last time. Just steal that. But yeah, I'll probably just steal a team off of one of my teammates. Yes.
All right. So about PvP, huh? The state of the game. It has been not great for a while now. What does it take for you to come back?
The state of the game has improved compared to like a couple of years ago when we had Fast of the Now.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just the thing is, even if the game would be like a little suboptimal, I don't think I'd really mind. The bigger problem is that Niantic keeps promising stuff and then not delivering, or just completely ignoring it like altogether. If they would be like, "Hey guys, frame drops, we're never gonna fix that," it'd be like, okay, maybe I can live with that if they fix the rest, right?
Hmm.
But they keep either ignoring the problem or saying like we're gonna fix it and then not doing it, and then they fix another thing and they break something else, and it's just a continuous state of going 2 steps forward and then 4 steps back, basically. And that is my problem. And then sometimes something doesn't happen at all. I mean, we had a pretty big bug fix when Fast of the Nile was fixed, of course.
Absolutely. I think that's
And
that's when it peaked.
yeah, that was like a great moment for the game. We had Worlds coming up, we had Fast with the All being fixed. That was like the moment where I was so motivated for the game. And that's what really fueled me for the period afterwards. But like they like, basically ignored PvP after that. Like they just let it rot. And that's kind of my issue. I just don't see them having like long-term support for PvP. And that's my issue. I mean, we did have a good move update now, and that's nice. But I see it more as a band aid, a temporary fix, than something long term. And I would really have to see them be passionate about supporting PvP long term before I can like come back, I would say.
Yeah, honestly, I really respect you about this because you're like one of the most well-known PvP content creators and battlers. You have qualified for Worlds, so you could go to Japan and compete, and you also were part of like a Niantic partnership for PvP, sort of. And so for you to actually say this stuff and say it's not enough, they're really not doing something that I feel is effective. I mean, I think that takes a lot of courage and a lot of like I don't know, like you put this statement out here, and now yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but do you know what I mean? Like it was a big statement, and I don't know how we can fix it to get you back, or people who are feeling this way that you're feeling back into the game.
Yeah, I guess so, but it was a long time coming. Honestly, I mean, before I announced I was pretty much retired, I had already not uploaded like any videos at all for months, and even before that, I took long breaks. I think a lot of people were aware, and I talk about it all the time that the game is just not heading in the right direction. So yeah, it was honestly just bound to happen at some point.
Or is it because Martine beat you in Malmo and you really just couldn't handle it anymore?
In
So you
Malmo,
decided
They,
that was
they,
just, oh no, no, where was it at?
they
In
didn't show
Utrecht.
it
It didn't
actually.
show it in Malmo. Yeah, it was just the nail
He
in
got
the
away.
PvP
I
coffin.
told him. They didn't show it.
yeah, I let him beat me, and then it didn't even show it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So sad. I thought I'm gonna be gone anyway. Might as well give Martijn some spotlight. Kind of like passing the torch to the second best Dutch player, and but no, they didn't show it. Such a shame.
That's so gracious of you. um, if there's anything you can say about that, what do you think is needed to actually get Niantic more invested into PvP? Is it the people?
I think that's difficult. Niantic has. I think their goal is their pillars of the game are exploration, community, and well, that's basically it. Just going out and meeting people, right? And I think for them to really start considering PvP more is to add those elements into PvP, or at least make them see that it's already there. Because in my opinion, as far as community goes, the best feature to bring people together has been PvP for me. I mean, raids are great. I go out, I meet a couple locals, I go home, right? But with PvP, because of PvP, I've traveled the world, met so many people, and people I talked to for more than like 15 minutes as well.
Right.
So I think they're not realizing PvP's potential in bringing people together enough, and I think they might also not be realizing how much time and effort it costs to like field a good PvP team. Because even just going out and grinding for the PvP Pokemon, I meet Pokemon or I meet people in my local community, right? If it wasn't for PvP, I would not be out playing and raiding at all. I would quit the game a long time ago. So I don't know. I don't think there's much they can change about PvP to like make it fit into those pillars more, but I think they just should just realize that it already kind of fits.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for Worlds last year when we were all in London, and there was like so many Pokemon Go players in one spot, and they came from, yeah, all over the globe. So I think these tournaments are something that are really going to hopefully make Niantic see that yes, the community is there. These are the people who are actually really dedicated to playing the game. Speaking of the tournaments, so walk us through Lille a little bit. This is when you qualified this year. I wasn't there. I was in the U.S. at the time. It seemed like quite the one to miss watching the recaps. But yeah, walk us through the team that you played and kind of how your experience went.
So that was a great tournament, actually. Um, you know, before Lille, a couple weeks before, I really wasn't feeling the game. Honestly, I actually considered not going to Lille first of all. Like I almost didn't go, but because the game was just as always just kind of shit.
I
But
just dragged.
eventually, I decided to go anyway because there's friends there, and I ended up stealing a team from Felix, the Nut 93. I don't remember it exactly anymore, but it was pretty meta with a couple more. I wouldn't say spicy picks, but just a couple picks to throw people off guard,
Enough
like the
meta.
Shadow Venusaur and the Frostlass, which are pretty good core breakers at the time. And yeah, I went in there, no expectations at all, and I ended up going to day two. Starting day two, I started off real bad. I faced a player by name of Wolfpack, a French player, was running Umbreon and Shadow K9, both of which I really didn't have any answers to because I didn't bring any water types. Sure Shadow K9 kind of wrecked me. And then for Armorina, I only had Metacham, which isn't really the best answer either. So the first best of three for him, I got 2 out, which I felt really bad about. As last time I made top 8 was at EOIC, and I also got through to the winners bracket, and I lost my first round there as well, and then my second round straight after that too. So I was really afraid that would happen again, but luckily I managed to beat Arceus Aurelius after that, and then I faced the nut. So Felix, we had a mirror team face off. Luckily, I was able to take him down, and I think I faced someone else after that. Maybe
You
not.
face Wolfpack again.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Ooh.
I losers finals. Before losers finals, actually, I was watching the winners finals, and it was Colin versus Wolfpack, and I was like, "Yo, I really hope Wolfpack wins," because I was sure that if I had to play Wolfpack again, so if Colin beat Wolfpack, that I would lose. But yeah, Colin ended up winning there, and I had to face Wolfpack again. And luckily, I was able to just barely squeeze out a 3-2 victory there, go into the final, the grand finals against Colin, which I sadly ended up losing. But I was still quite happy with my result because I had secured my ticket for Japan.
Yeah, I mean, but you like barely lost too, because there was the ice punch. Or I remember watching it on the the crowd just went nuts because everyone thought that you won, and then there was like a counter roar of people like cheering when they realized that Colin was able to get off that sky attack.
Yep, yeah, I was literally 1 HP. I really thought I would knock out, but sadly it didn't.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'm glad that you made worlds there. I barely didn't, unfortunately. That was my tournament to go out to in the winners. Um, Now, speaking of Japan, what would it take for you to go to Japan at this point?
There's no chance I'm going.
I really think you should, buddy. I mean, like all your friends are going. You've already qualified. Even if you don't play, like you get to go hang out with like people that you know and are like super close with.
Yeah, but I'll see them elsewhere. I think Japan is just way too much of an investment for me right now, especially because I don't mind like hanging out with people that play the game or playing the game. I mean, I did community day this past Saturday with
With
Martine as
me?
well and some other friends, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't want to spend so much on a holiday and just be like surrounded by like this game the whole time,
Sure,
which I
sure.
I don't. I'm trying to avoid it at least a little bit. My life was Pokemon Go for such a long time that I'm kind of okay with not having that right now, at least as much.
Fair, fair. Okay, different question then. We talked about Liu before, but you still went to the EUIC after, even though you were already a little bit in a state of mind where you didn't like the game as much, right? Can you tell us a little
Yep.
bit about why you still went and how that went?
Well, I already booked everything, so
Yeah, that's fair.
I might as well, I might as well. And dude, I don't know what it is with these tournaments, but I suck every time I prepare for one of these tournaments, it goes so badly. Like it's never gone well. For
It's true.
EUIC, I didn't know what team to run. And the week before EUIC, I started practicing and I I lost almost everything. Like I think I did like 30 practice battles. I maybe won like 4. Like it was
All
that
against me.
bad. It was that bad. Yeah, well, no,
You,
actually, I think you were the only person I
yeah,
beat. Like,
I,
in like
I
a
beat
best of
everyone
3.
except you. And for you, it was the opposite.
Yeah. Oh my god! But I tried out so many different teams, and it didn't go well. And I remember actually the day before the tournament, we were walking through London, and it was myself, Martine, and a couple others, and we
Scaffa,
stopped
right?
to Scafo as
Yeah.
well, and we stopped at some shop to get some drinks, and we just sat there for a little bit, and we did some scrims, and I was scrimming against Martine, and after 2 battles I just rage quit. I was so mad.
It felt
I
so
was
good.
I was so mad because, well, I was just playing really bad. It was kind of I have kind of high standards of myself, and I was playing so bad. I was just disappointed. So kind of rage quit and was like, oh, okay, no more practice. I'll just run something tomorrow and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I didn't decide on my team until the morning off, like a half an hour before we had to put the team in. I decided I would run Martine's team. So like half an hour before tournament started, I entered the team and I went in, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. It went really well. like really well. I don't think I've ever played that good, honestly. Like I don't know what happened, but I absolute demon mode that tournament.
It's a team.
Yeah,
Must have
definitely.
been.
The team was great. Honestly, the team was fantastic. I absolutely hated Trevenant. Like this entire like meta game, Trevenant is so annoying because it can absolutely ruin your team or get ruined. It just felt so rock paper scissors because if you get it locked onto Noctowl, it's just over for the opponent, of course, or for yourself if you're running it. You know.
What about?
Uh,
I was gonna
so
say, what
I
do you think of
never
the counter argument that it's actually rock paper scissors because of Lantern and not because of
That's
Trevenant?
actually, yes, that is what I think. I do think it is not a Trevenant issue. It's the fact that the whole meta is built in a way that makes half of it weak to Trevenant and half of it strong to Trevenant. I don't think it's the Trevenant issue. It's definitely more of a Lantern problem, but still, Trevenant being rock paper scissors, kind of the result. So that's kind of why I never brought it. But Martine's team really focused on making Trevenant shine, I felt, as it has Lantern, Registeel, and Alola Ninetales to like cover Noctowl super hard. So I basically just brought Trevenant every game and destroyed.
I see.
Actually, this is my favorite, my absolute favorite battle of them all was when I was facing Richie Beckett. Richie Beckett was running a team with Noctowl, Umbreon, and I think Lickitung. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lickitung. And
Loki.
then it was also Lantern, Metacham, and G-Fizz. So 50-50 strong weak versus Trevenant. And game one, I was like, okay, no way he expects me to run Trevenant. My theory is basically if someone has a lot of counters to Trevenant, I should bring Trevenant because they're not going to expect it. So I bring it in game one in the back, and I get absolutely hard counter to start the game. Like I don't remember exactly, but my lead was hard countered, but I stayed in anyway because I didn't have much choice. Then I bring in then I bring in my Obstagoon, I'm pretty sure, and he has Metacham, and I'm like, what? Okay, this is really bad. But I bring in Trevenant, and he stays into the Metacham. I'm like, what? And my Trevenant just ends up sweeping his team because he ran G-Fisk, Lantern, and Medi. He ran none of his Pokemon that were like would have owned Trevenant, and my Trevenant just swept. It was great. It's probably my proudest moment ever in this game.
That's super risky on his part. My favorite moment was when you played Scaffold on stage because I was commentating it, and those were really intense battles. And
Yeah, they were really good.
I think a lot of people were saying, but it's obviously not true because you guys were playing hard. That you threw the game for him. But let's confirm it right here on the podcast. Did you or did you not throw that game against Scaffold?
Chat is clueless, dude. I did everything I could. Like, I played gold like that game. Honestly, I'm just gonna be arrogant about it. None of the people in chat would have gotten nearly as close as I
You got
was.
two catches.
Honestly, I got 2 catches. Scaffo is a god, so those catches didn't matter. Like he just like every time I caught, he just farmed up more and he got back that energy he lost, and he hard countered me so much that it didn't really matter that he desynced the clock more or that he gave me energy. But like it was the only way to stay in the game, and I almost got him. And that's basically how close I could have gotten. I think in hindsight, I should have ran a different team. Honestly, looking back at it, it's kind of obvious he wasn't gonna run a couple Pokemon, so I regret not bringing like Obstagoon or Trevenant. But for the team I ran, I think I played as well as I could.
I think one of the cores we struggled with that I personally have myself, because I think me Weedle was running a similar team. It just came down to that Swampert A9 core every single time. I think that was the way against the team that we run, and it was
Yep,
pretty difficult to deal with if you play against someone who knew what they were doing, like
yep.
Scafo. Um, but I did knock me Weedle out. I just want to say that
We'll tell it every episode.
every episode.
Yeah, when your best core breaker to A9 Swampert is Charizard and Obstagoon,
Mhm.
it's not a great time, you know?
Well, the thing is, though, those two just fit so well in the team. One of the ideas
Yeah,
I always had was if I play against someone who, doesn't play super risky lines, I could always lead Obstagoon or Charizard and have the other one as a safe switch. Because if I lose the lead, if I have like a Obstagoon against to Medicham, I can also always say switch to Charizard. There should never be a Lantern in the back, or they would be very
Sure,
weak
yeah.
to Trevenant. Yeah, now that I say that, they did that twice to me in the hard fort. Luckily, I didn't do Obstagoon Charizard core there, but yeah, that was kind of the strategy it was mostly built on, and exactly what you say, the fact that I want to make Trevenant work because I despise the Lantern Medicore so much. I still do. I run Whimsicott now.
Yeah, it's
but
even worse now, honestly.
it is. But actually, I think Trevenant is still pretty fine currently. It's just a little bit even more 50-50, right? Yes, you can
Yeah.
run into a team with 2 water types in a meta champ. You can also run into a team with Umbreon, A/Slash, and Noctowl. So it's even more 50-50 right now, Trevenant. I've asked this a million times to you. I'm gonna do it again because we're on the cast and maybe not everyone knows your answer to this question. I'm. It's just like with Japan. I'm just now and then poking you on it.
Again?
When are we seeing you next to me in the cast booth?
Oh,
Yeah.
different question. Oh, I don't think ever. Maybe sometime.
Maybe he hasn't said maybe yet. He's changing his mind.
I don't exclude the possibility,
Mhm.
but I mean, right now I'm not even playing the game, so I'm not gonna cast.
No,
you
Well,
know.
there are more casters who don't play and still cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, not everyone is openly shit talking the game online, right?
Fair.
Well, some of them are actually. Some of them are.
Right? I mean, I think I mean, like, okay at casting. I think with a little bit of practice, I could be all right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think right now there's no chance. I would have to get back into the game more.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see about that. I already got it to say maybe now, so that's already a big change.
Yeah, if only there
it
was
is.
like a
I
likable
used to
crew.
always say no. You're right, but
I see
I have
opportunities.
changed my mind a little bit. Could be fun.
No, I would really like that as well. I don't think we've ever actually casted together. We used to do like your practice tournaments and stuff, but we haven't done
Yeah, we
anything
casted
official.
together in those.
Yeah, but nothing like official, Thomas. I mean, like,
Yeah.
come on, jump in here.
Nothing live. It's different live
It's
than
true.
like pre-recorded battles. That's for sure.
It's fun. Maybe for a tryout.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I might be down for that.
Man, we're really switching on him right here. Okay, we're gonna bring up some controversial things since, like you said, you're done with the game. You don't even care, right? Rank the EU emperors in order of skill.
Oh my goodness, you did not just do that.
And Inadequance at the bottom. No, it's this is. I think this is really difficult question. I think when you look at it from who is the best battler, if we just take this one person, what would like their win rate be? We could easily rank, but there's a lot more to that to a player than just how they do their battles. I would say. I think I'm just gonna single one player out here. Let's say Elephant Flusher. I wouldn't say he is the best player in our team. I don't think he is the best. He is a really good player. Everyone of our players is a really good player, but Elephant is not like the top. But he is extremely good at figuring out what opponents are gonna run. Like whenever I ask for advice, or whenever I used to ask for advice, like what do you think my opponent's gonna run? What should I run? Elephant always has very good input. I think is probably our best at predicting what our opponent's gonna run. So I would put him higher on the list just because of that. And Guido has that skill as well. Whenever I need a risky line to run, I'm like, Guido, yo, give me a Guido line. And he will give me the most ridiculous lineup in the world. They will literally lose to 3 of the opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I will still use it because I'm like, Guido, he knows how to predict. We're doing this. And then
I
we
usually
win,
refuse. But then I should
So-
listen.
Yeah, exactly. I think every one of our players has like unique play style and different skills that contribute to the team in different ways. And not all of them are like winning battles. So it is hard to say who's like the most skilled.
Okay, that's fair. But instead, then rank Emerald EU factions in order of skill.
Oh, EU Emperor's up top. of course, of course. And then it gets difficult. Let me think. We got Snowverse, Wasted, Gorilla, who would probably deserve to be a tier
Relegated,
below.
yeah.
Actually, Gorilla is washed. I don't.
They're
I don't.
very washed.
I don't. I think each. This is actually where I think EU Emperors differs from like other factions, especially Guerrilla Garbadors. I would actually dare to say, individual, like on an individual skill wise, Guerrilla Garbadors might be better than us. I think if you take each of their players individually, rank them up against all of our players individually, I think they might have the edge. But they kind of suck compared to us in factions. I mean, I say that. I mean, they're good, right? Kind of hyperbolically, but they don't do that well. They don't do that well,
I
even
don't
though they
think
have like amazing players.
I don't think they communicate a lot.
Yeah.
I asked Stone Collection about it. Like we usually like to share our battles, most of us, right? In Discord to each other and like have input that way. They don't
Yep.
do that a lot.
I
At
guess
least from what I
so.
heard. And you know, maybe you say they might be better because they have the world champion. I would also remind you to take a look at the world champions records from the last few bouts. It's not been very very clean.
But that's what I mean. I mean, we have a good dynamic going on of teamwork and people giving input, and
Mhm.
not just like during the battles. Honestly, I think our results would not be much different whether we share battles or not. It's just really input before the battles and just the support we have for each other. I think that really brings us to the next level compared to some of the other factions.
All right. All right. Who is going to win Silv Worlds this season, you think?
EU Emperors.
All right, all right.
Who's
Of
going to come in?
course.
But if you guys didn't, or who's going to come in second?
Who do we play in the finals? That's a better way to word it.
Yeah.
Let's think. I think, I mean, Pogoats are really good, but I mean, everyone has their number, right? Everyone has their number. Like, if you face Pogoats, you're gonna play your best or you're gonna try your hardest. So I think Pogoats gonna go out earlier than they expect. That's my call. And we're gonna play. Let me think. I want to say Stadium Elite, but I think it's the same as Pogoats. People really try hard for the Stadium Elite, so they might go out a little earlier as well. I'm expecting a Latam faction to be second, but which one? It's gotta be like Infinity Go, whichever has the most wins. I don't remember. There's so many Infinity Goes: white, black, rainbow, poop brown. I don't know. One of them is gonna be second. Yeah.
All right, that's fair. And on that sort of topic, I guess, or I don't know, Martin, do we have any more controversial takes before we really do the enders?
Not right now. I mean, it's still I should have no problem thinking of one quickly, but I don't.
Come on,
have one right
roast
now.
me.
I don't need to.
Bring me the
You
controversy.
already gave up on the game.
Actually, this isn't controversial, but I do think it's a fun fact that I do bring up about you. So you are vegan, and you don't drink, and now you've quit the game. So, like, do you have a life?
No, I don't. No.
You said to roast you.
What do you do outside of Pokemon Go now, if I may ask?
Yo, I'm building a roller coaster. It's in the
Hell yeah.
background, actually. Look at this. So when I was a kid, I built like all kinds of things out of K'NEX, and I was like, I still got so much of this stuff. I'm just gonna try again. So wait, I can kind of show you. Look, it's quite
Oh
big.
my goodness, that's
And
huge.
yeah, but I also have a 3D printer, so I've been learning that, like not for that long, so I'm kind of learning the ropes still. But actually, I've got it in front of me. My project right now has been to make like these roller coaster trains with like kind of realistic wheel assemblies. Because if you take like the K'NEX like toy car, they like suck. They wouldn't even make it halfway up like this coaster. So I 3D printed my own and I designed them all myself, and that's what I've been working on.
Will you make a YouTube video about it?
Yeah. Actually, I'll probably film it tonight.
All right, all right.
You should.
Yeah,
You should.
I need this thing is taking up so much room. I need to get rid of it.
Thomas, do you still talk with Kev Killer at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Actually, used to. I know Kev Killer from before Pogo because of this.
Yeah, I was
He
just gonna
used to
say.
make Knex coasters as well, and we were on the same like forum. And yeah, that's where I know him from. And then actually, I changed my username from those forum days to ThoTechtical, but his name stayed the same. So I knew him from the website. He didn't know who I was. But then during Sylph Season 1 Worlds, I ran into him. I was like, hey, I'm this guy from the coaster forum. Do you remember? And he kind of did. So it was fun. But yeah, I still talk to him about it.
Yeah. He has like a maker space right now, but he's doing 3D printing and a bunch of stuff for like companies in Belgium. So I was just thinking you should hook him up.
We are actually. I've sent him like some like designs and stuff. So we are doing that.
That's super cool. Okay, cool. All right, then I guess to be nice to you and not to roast you anymore, we're gonna give you our last question. This is a standard question for the Stadium Cast. Who do you think in the PvP community could be considered a brawler? And a brawler is someone who is good, maybe like scrappy, but maybe not super well known yet. And then who do you think is a champion, who is someone who's like already well known and most likely could win a tournament or go on to win worlds?
Oh, this is tough. This is tough because I haven't really. I mean, I still follow the competitive scene, but not as hard as I used to. But let me think. Crow brawler, someone not so well known, but who is really good. Mm, let me do them a champion first.
Sure.
That's easier, but they're so difficult. There's so many like insane players. I mean, this guy.
I say, yeah. Do you see Martin giving you the eyes?
Definitely not. Definitely not. He is a washed caster.
That's the second.
The second?
Yes, Susie said immediately as well. No, it's not going to be
not
you.
You know. Casting is where skill goes to die, right? That's how it works.
I think Caleb and I
That's fair.
proved the otherwise.
Caleb played like one good player. That's a whole take right there. Or actually two. No, but anyway, no, he played well. Anyway,
It's all recorded.
let me think. I mean, there's so many good players. If I could just do a guess of who's gonna win worlds, like Axon, Wardage, who else? There's so many people who could. Every single one of the EU emperors could. But I don't know. It's tough to call. And then car brawlers. I don't know. Honestly, it's tough. I feel like most of the good battlers are kind of well known at the moment because of the play Pokemon circuit.
That's true, but some of them, like even some of the EU emperors, like they haven't qualified necessarily for worlds.
Yeah, I guess they're well known to me. I don't know who's well known to everyone. I guess at this point, maybe he's kind of well known, but maybe not well known enough. Human Catcher Bug. I've been watching, or I was watching some of his YouTube videos. I mean, he only won like one tournament, right? And I think weird things can happen, and someone, Pokemon Go, not always the most skilled player wins. If you win a tournament, you are good. Doesn't mean you're like a god all of a sudden. That's my take. But I think Human Catcher Bug is actually a god. He's really freaking good, and I think he might actually be one of the very best players. Because I was watching some of his YouTube videos, and like the amount of like precision he has in his gameplay, I think is almost unrivaled. So if he can show that during Worlds, I think he can go very, very far. Much further than some people might expect.
Yeah, until he faces a very sleepy opponent.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. He lost to Felix when Felix was like basically dead. And
that's when Felix is in his prime, though.
Yeah,
exactly. Right when he told me once. at the end of the day, everyone's tired from playing, right? But Felix is always tired, so he's used to it and he has an advantage. And I think that's what makes Felix also even better at those tournaments, right? I was thinking, if I may say myself, though, someone we both know, I think Gideon could be someone who really excels as well.
Yeah, I don't know Gideon well enough. I know he did okay in some of your tournaments, and he does pretty good in GBL without putting too much time into the game. But I mean, that's I think that's the issue. I don't think he will put more time into the game,
Yeah, though.
so I don't think we'll see much of him.
Perhaps. All right. Thank you, Toe, for coming on the cast today, despite being retired, and well, soon to be caster, hopefully. I hope you had a great time here as well. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me, Amanda and Martijn. This was great. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, come back anytime. And yeah, like Martijn said, we'll see you in the casters booth.
Who knows? Who knows?